everyone, Yensid Organist here, and welcome to another episode of OrgelCraft. Hope you guys are having a great day today. In today's episode, we are going to finish the northern part of the harbor and the village to the wall. But Yensid, didn't you say you've learned about announcing that you're going to be biting off a huge project and then aren't able to finish it? Yes, I have. That's why I'm taking several weeks to actually get this episode done while I'm working on a few other smaller projects throughout the world. So, what all does that entail? So, we've done most of the terraforming here. Obviously, I've kind of slacked off in this area, and then coming around here. So what we need to do is, obviously we need to finish that terraforming. We need to get the wall built up, so I need to figure out where that's going to go. It is going to curve its way up here, and so we need to figure out just how far that's going to go to the base of where our cliffs are going to be. Then we'll need to do all the terraforming to fill all that in. And then I want to get to the cliffs that kind of come along the interior of the harbor here, which is where we're going to have a little bit of a waterfall, kind of what separates the northern part of the harbor from the southern part. And then from there, we need to get houses and things like that in. Mostly houses. There do need to be windmills. I might hold off on the windmills, just because they might need their own special episode. But we'll start working some trees in. I'm not going to do, like, all the detail that needs to be done in this area, but we will just see what we can accomplish in this episode. I missed. Yeah, so the first thing I need to do is I need to figure out where I want the wall to go. And then get that all built up. So I'm going to start by just kind of laying out where I want it to go, and then we'll work on building it up from there. Welcome back, everyone. So I've got a little bit of work done figuring out where this wall is going to go, and if I can land on here. So I have a nice little arc that kind of goes up to this first pillar here, and there's a couple of towers that are going to be there. There's one there, and then one up at the end there. And I used an online generator to make this arc, and I think it looks really nice. Where I am struggling is with the next part of the arc. I actually started with that and kind of did it freehand, and as you can see, it doesn't look nearly as good. The problem that I'm coming with now is that I'm having trouble making a good-looking arc that doesn't, drastically alter the shape from this first tower. So I think that what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm thinking that the towers probably need to be redone. As you can see, I've tried a couple of different things that have not really panned out. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to build up the wall to this point where I have something that I like. And then from there, I will, so once I actually have the wall in place, I'll have a better idea of what I want it to be going for the rest of it. So I'm going to get started on that, and I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. And just like that, we have a wall. So after building the first part of it here that I had nicely outlined, I was able to get a decent little arc for the second half of it, and I think that it came together quite nicely, and it is fully walkable. Just make our way up here. Now, the one thing that I did not do was get the towers put in, and I think that's something that I'm actually going to wait until I have the terraforming done around here, and then I will work those in from there. But I've kind of left space for them. One is supposed to go here, and then one will go all the way down at the end, and the view doesn't change much from here. So let's fly on out here. And then you can see what we've got. So, yeah. So the wall ends about here, and then the terrain is fairly steep that comes around here, creating kind of a natural barrier for protecting the town. So, I think before we can really get anything more done, we need to get all of the terrain built up to this wall. I'm not planning on doing anything on the far side for right now, but the wall is finished over here, apart from some scaffolding that I have left in place to try to work things out. But yeah, I would like to get all the rest of this area filled in so that we do not have a floating wall. So you know what that means. Terraforming time-lapse. Here we go. Welcome back, everyone. I have officially run out of dirt. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that it took me this long to run out, but yeah. Placed a lot of it. I'm also running a little bit low on stone. Not completely, but yeah, definitely starting to feel the resource pinch here. I've also run out of dark prismarine. So I'm going to need to go grass mining sometime before the end of this episode. I'm also going to need to visit the squid farm and the guardian farm. So yeah. I'm also just about losing my mind with all this terraforming. If I don't know off the top of my head because I actually haven't run through it yet, but I'm guessing that somewhere on the order of 10 to 12 hours went into that time lapse. And of course we didn't finish. But that's okay. So yeah, I need a break from terraforming. I need to do something else. So we're gonna get to work on starting to build up some houses around here and just kind of lay things out. So I'm gonna go grab my wool and I'm gonna start laying out some houses. I will bring you guys back to show you the plan and then we'll get those houses built. Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, I have plotted out places for a number of houses along our hillside here. I've also done a little bit of prep work for some of the, I don't know what to call it, the agriculture that's going to be in this area. So there's a lot of farms on these hillsides, but there are also several orchards. And so the pink and the red are all going to be our houses, and then the brown areas in here are going to be orchards. And I was playing around with a couple of things in creative, trying to figure out how I could do some apple trees. And you can do it with invisible item frames, and it does look pretty good. However, for the sheer scale of trees that I'm going to need and then item frames that I would have to put in there. Yeah, this world is already getting very laggy around here with all the blocks that I've placed. It doesn't need to get, I don't need to be loading up entities here. There's going to be a little pumpkin patch that goes in this area here. Yeah. One thing that I kind of found as I was plotting this out is I'd really like to be able to do some more custom homes in this area. So a lot of the ones that are here are just going to be our typical houses like we have down in the village, basically that little cookie cutter mold that I've been using. But as I was starting to place things, I realized that I'd really like to be able to do some more custom houses and some other buildings as well. So I have laid out something for a little bit of a larger house here. And I'd also like to do some barns, some silos, and we need to do windmills. So I think that, at least as far as the rest of this episode goes, I'm going to do all of the standard houses. And then I think I'm going to save some more custom buildings for a future episode. So we'll get most of it done. I also need to be able to finish the terraforming here to be able to lay out a couple more houses. But then, just depending on the time, we might save some of those more unique buildings for future builds. So I am going to get to work on this. I got to pull up my spreadsheet and figure out what all variations on houses I want to do and get to building. So yeah, I'm going to get to work and I will bring you guys back when we've made some progress. So it turns out 118 broke this farm. Guess who found out the hard way after AFKing here for 12 hours and getting no ink? So apparently the spawning mechanics for squid were changed from needing a 1x2 area to needing a 1x3. So this whole farm has been broken, which means I have to take the whole thing apart and completely rebuild it. Not completely rebuild it, but the tedious part of taking down the fences and putting the water sources, yeah, have to redo all of that. Oh well. Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, The hillside has a number of residences on it now. I also got the squid farm fixed and was able to get the dark prismarine to cap all of those off, except I missed one here. So let's take a little tour and just kind of get a little bit of an overview of all the houses that have been added. We'll keep our tally going of all the houses that we have built. So I have 3 more down here that have rounded off Clock Tower Street. These have been missing for quite a while. So those are now finished. And then if we head around here, of course, night is falling. Oh, I hope I've slept recently. Oh, well. So I think we're going to go to the right for Windmill Way. And we'll see all of the houses that we have here. So got a couple tucked in the hillside. Did just a little bit of fencing there. This is going to be filled in with something eventually. I'm not entirely sure what. But so then we've got some houses on this little area here. There's a little garden next to this one. I need to get some railings up here because you don't want to go tumbling off the side. I got a couple of the little orchards filled in. I don't remember what I had done for the last clip, but we've got one there and then one on the other side that we'll see when we come down. This house was a little bit of a different design. It did the roof sideways instead of the typical front to back that I've done with all the others. But yeah, I'm liking how things are looking here. And yeah. So, at least as far as finishing this episode up, I've been doing some gathering of resources so that hopefully we can get that last little area filled in at the top. And then need to work on the cliffside here and trying to get all of that done. We're not going to get all the way around to the waterfall that I had been hoping to do, but we'll maybe at least sketch out where that's going to go so that we can work on that in the future. But let's see here. I think that this part, there's nothing here. I've still got some layouts for some bigger houses that need to be built. There also are a few that need to get built down here, but as I haven't done the terraforming, we are not quite there yet. I've also been trying to think about some different variations that I can do for the different orchards. So far, I've done 2 of the same things where I've just used stripped spruce and azalea leaves, which I think look really nice. The trees are identical in shape, and I just vary up the placement of the leaves a little bit. But I kind of feel like for the for a better immersion, I don't know if that's quite the word I want to use, but I think that it would be good to have a little bit of variation on those because you'd have different types of fruit trees growing, I would guess. Not sure what you'd have. But yeah, so I'd like to do that just so that there's a little variation in all of the different areas that we have, and then we're going to get some cropland in. I'll probably do just a little bit of that as I finish up the terraforming, at least just to kind of outline some different plots so we can get some wheat growing so that while I'm working in the area, that we'll be able to fill in. I'm not planning to waterlog any of that, or I guess not waterlog, hydrate, just because of the fact that, you know, if we open this up, there's a hole down to the ocean below. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan that I have going forward. And we're just going to finish up our little house tour here. But I'm liking all of these houses. The system that I came up has been so invaluable for doing all of these houses because it just, you know, I have everything set up in the spreadsheet and I just go from there. And so, using the same house template over and over again, you get a lot of nice variation here without having to, sit there and go, okay, well, what do I want to do for this one? And making sure that, it's things that are randomized. So this way it is truly random, and you get a lot of really nice variation. And I didn't realize just how long this street was. I was like, oh, we'll take a walking tour of the street. But it's coming along really nicely. I definitely have a lot of detail work that I need to fill in. It needs trees, it needs grass, and obviously, some of the things like farmland and the other orchards. We'll get that all in here eventually. This is one of the little orchards that I have built up. This was the smaller one. I kind of started with that and used it as a test to see how well it would work, but I feel like it works pretty well. I love being up on this hillside and just looking out over the town and the castle, some of which is not rendering in. There it is. But yeah, so I think, and then this is our other orchard in here. And I believe that this one, I think this is the last of the houses, actually. We do need to finish our loop all the way around. I've been growing pumpkins here because I'm going to need them for a couple of pumpkin patches that I want to do, and I realized I don't have a lot of pumpkins in the area. So we will have to get those. This is the chest monster, which isn't too bad, all things considered. Yeah, and it's just got this one here on the hillside, and I put one tree in there just to kind of do a little bit of filling in. Obviously, I need to do a lot more of that as we go forward, but let's just take a look at this from the air. And there it is. Looks really nice at night. I love the glow from all of the houses, and it's nice to see, some chimneys with some smoke coming out, but really, really happy with how this has progressed so far. So, time to do a last little bit of terraforming, and I think I've done enough time-lapse of the terraforming work, so I'm going to get that done off camera, and I will bring you guys back when that's finished. Welcome back, everyone. So, I have filled in all of this area up here, and got that all going. I did not add any more houses to it yet, and unfortunately we're not going to get there because the enemy of all OrgelCraft major projects has reared its ugly head, and that is the enemy of time. So I really wanted to be able to get to this area over here by the harbor, but I started doing some editing work just to make sure that I would be able to have enough time to get it all done. And unfortunately, it took a lot longer to edit this video than I thought it was going to, so not going to quite get there, but we've made fantastic progress on Windmill Way in the street, and then we'll just have to dedicate, we're going to call this is the harbor area, and so I did accomplish my goal of getting Windmill Way mostly done for this episode, so then we'll have a harbor building episode sometime in the near future. I did want to show you, you might have caught a glimpse of it. I was trying to be sneaky about how I was flying around, but I did add one field of crops up here in this little area here, so we have a nice little, not exactly a little wheat field, in this area here, and I feel like I might want to do, put like some paths through it or something. It seems just a little too much with the wheat, and I'll probably do other crops in other areas so that we don't necessarily have, the bright yellow everywhere. But I think this is really, really nice. There are definitely some patches where I should probably go in and add dirt below, but for the most part, like everywhere you can see, a change in elevation, there's a little gap because of how the field is done. So, for the most part, once the wheat is in there, you really can't see that, and I think that if you're at eye level, you really won't be able to see it. But I did just a little bit of detailing in through this part of the street, so just came through and bone mealed the grass, added some little fences here. You kind of have some railings along the path, some fences around the field. We're not too worried about, things getting in and trampling the crops, but it is nice to have that little bit of a barrier. Did a little bit of a poppy garden here because I had a ton of them from bone mealing. Yeah. We're not going to talk about the fact that I used nearly 34 stacks of bone meal on this. What's the point of having a general mob farm if you're not going to use the resources from it, right? Right. Ordinarily, I would not go through and bone meal a field like this, but I wanted to have it done, so I grabbed the seeds. This is about 14 stacks of seeds. Might be closer to 15, and then, bone meal to finish it all up. But really, really liking how this is looking. And if we fly on out here, our hillside looks complete. So obviously, we still have mountains, which we weren't getting to the mountains today anyway. So I'm going to keep working on filling in, the incidentals around here. I'll put actual building of, some of these more specialized houses into other episodes. I feel like it looks like this house does not have a window up here. I think it was just the angle that I was at. So, yes. So, yeah, really, really happy with this progress. Obviously, I'd like to have gotten a little bit farther, but I don't have another week's worth of material that I can build, and I don't want to make you wait another week for this episode. So, we are going to call it there, but there is one last thing that I want to do. It has been quite some time since we have got an updated map of the area, and because of how much we've built, I think that it would be worthwhile to get another map built. So this is where we were in episode 12. This is episode 17. Over on this wall, we have episode 25. And then here is episode 48. So it's been 15 episodes since we've done this. It's pretty good. And apparently I don't have any maps. I don't know if I have anything upstairs. I do not. All right. So I need to go make some maps and get that all charted out. And then I will bring you guys back in just a minute. And here is our episode 63 map. And Arendelle has expanded to the point that it no longer fits in this nice little 3x3 frame. In fact, even the area that the castle is on does not fit. So I think what we'll probably do here is we'll probably do one more of these over here in another few episodes. Although, after saying that, I don't know how much more we're going to be able to change on this. So, I guess I do have a little bit... Whoops. There is a little bit more that needs to get done. So maybe we'll do like a final map of this. And then on this wall, we'll do maps of other areas. So obviously we'll have the southern part of the harbor, the western area over there. I need to remember to lock these. I forgot to do that. Okay. So I will get that done. But yeah, things are looking good. Things are coming along really, really nicely here. Guys, that is going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give it a like and share it with your friends. If you haven't already, I would encourage you to subscribe and make sure you click that little notification bell so you can stay up to date on all my latest posts. Be sure to follow me on social media. Thanks for watching. See you real soon.